Hello, 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 and welcome back to the NUFC Opinion Blog. Hello and welcome back to an NUFC Opinion Blog special documentary on the current state of affairs at Newcastle United under Mike Ashley.
Listen!
So for over 10 years now, Newcastle United have been under the control of London millionaire Mike Ashley. And for 10 years he has bled this club dry. And as fans and supporters, we are absolutely sick of it. I think it is time for change at Newcastle United. I think most of us do. And I think now is the time we have to take real action. And we've tried protests, we've tried banners, flags, etc. But now the time for real action is needed. We need a boycott against Arsenal in the first game of the season. The call for a boycott came after it was announced that Rafa Benitez would not stay as Newcastle manager and was to be replaced by Steve Bruce. A lot of supporters saw this as the last straw. The fact that a Champions League winning manager had left the club and was to be replaced by someone like Steve Bruce. They saw this as a good reason to boycott not only games but also the official store and Mike Ashley's other shops as well, and not to give him any more money.
If you love the tune, shoes off!
Come on! Come on! One thing that has annoyed me a lot about the current situation at Newcastle is the way that the media has reported on it. You know, you've got journalists like Richard Keys, Danny Mills, saying absolutely incorrect things. Even Rio Ferdinand has been on the bandwagon, saying things that just don't make sense to do with the club. Today, Richard Keys said about Steve Bruce that it's a great appointment for the club. It is not a great appointment for Newcastle United. He's a bang average championship manager. We've gone from Rafa Benitez, Champions League winner, to Steve Bruce, mediocrity. Probably even worse than that in the current state of affairs with the way Mike Ashley is running the club. So journalists really need to check their facts. Danny Mills said that Newcastle have too high expectations. We don't expect to be winning the treble. We just want a team that competes and does well and actually has a bit of soul and life out of the place. But Mike Ashley has taken that from the club, and journalists need to see that. You do get some good ones, mind. The likes of Jake Humphrey and some of the ones from the Chronicle, although some of them can be a little bit dodgy at times, but obviously they're from Newcastle, they're likely to know what's going on and represent the area better, but they actually have a true understanding as to what is going on at the club. But as I said, some really don't, and they need to check their facts. Now, some will look at the business we've done this summer and ask what we're complaining about, but it must be remembered that in the 110 years prior to Mike Ashley at the club, we'd been relegated 4 times. Under Mike Ashley, it's happened twice. It must also be remembered that under Mike Ashley, we've only been in Europe once and only had one significant top half finish, which of course was 5th in 2011-12. It also needs to be remembered that our net spend until recently has been a profit, which in the Premier League, if you want to compete, you just can't go like that. You can't act like that. If you want to do well, or at least, challenge in the top half to a good extent. I'm not saying top of the league, we're not Man City, we're not Liverpool, but, be around there and maybe fight for Europa League places. You need to be better than that, and it just hasn't been. Admittedly, as I say, this summer it has been better, but still, it's not good enough. And of course, Mike Ashley, as a person, the way he runs his businesses is very questionable. And of course, he's been buying up a lot of other businesses that have been failing. So what goes on there, we don't know fully. But it just shows that under him, I just don't think we can go anywhere. And obviously, that is the view of a lot of other supporters. But the new season is once again upon us, and we will see what happens. Of course, I wish Newcastle the best. I always do, no matter what the scenario is. I want us to do well, and I hope we do under Steve Bruce. Like I have said that I didn't think Steve Bruce is the right appointment in this documentary, but I still obviously wish the best for him, being a local lad. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching this documentary, and how are the lads?